Okay, there we go.
We're back!
So, yes, but by the way, if I had to pick a Michael Douglas film, it would be Falling Down.
Oh, yeah.
Great movie.
Yep.
Especially when he's trying to cross the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
He goes up to the guy who's having a heart attack and he goes, and you're going to die. That stupid little hat.
You know, to be an actor and have lines like that, you just can't beat it with a stick. Well, and that's why I like watching Tombstone, because there's like a line in that fucking movie every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not wearing a bustle. How lewd. Yeah.
Well, it's like I said before, you know, villains in films not only have the best roles in the film, but they also have the best lines.
Yeah. And, Val Kilmer had some terrific ones in that one.
Yeah, but so did Michael Biehn.
Michael Biehn?
Michael Biehn played... a
guy. Okay.
He played, like, some guy.
No, he played the main villain after Powers Booth in Tombstone.
I thought you said
Johnny Ringo. He played Johnny Ringo.
Oh, Johnny Ringo. Good old Johnny Ringo.
That also had Billy Bob Thornton in it. For like a half a minute.
Now, are you going to do something, or are you just going to stand there and bleed?
Yeah. I mean, that was another scene where, you know, I was actually literally afraid of the actors when Kirk Douglas said, you tell them I'm coming and I'm bringing hell with me.
Yeah.
Going,
and hell's coming with me!
Yeah, and I'm like, Where did we leave off? What film did we leave off with?
Night Watch, Day Watch.
Night Watch, Day Watch, yeah. I recommend these films to anybody.
I loved Night Watch. I still haven't seen Day Watch because I heard it wasn't. And then is it Twilight Watch?
It's supposed to be Twilight Watch, which my understanding last I looked it up was they were filming in the States.
Right.
Was
Day Watch in Russian or English?
Both.
Shortened version of Twilight Watch.
What's really cool is if you get the original pressing DVD, I have no idea if it's on Blu-ray. If it is, I will let you know because it'll be in my house. In the original DVD pressing, there's two sides to the disc. On disc 1, it's in English. In disc 2, it's still filmed in its traditional Russian with English subtitles. However, what's really cool with the feature is that when a new character comes in that hasn't been seen already in the film, a little pop-up comes up at the top of the screen and gives the history of the character, which is really wicked. But it's like way at the top, so it's like a subtitle at the top, so it's not distracting from the film. But it gives the character's name and the history of his character through the series. So I thought that was really cool. But what's really messed up, I saw the trailer for it. Population 187.
What about it?
Was that the film we were watching when we saw the preview?
Probably.
Which had Fred Durst in it and Jeremy Sisto.
187?
It's about a cult-ish town that believes they have to keep their population down to be balanced with the rest of the universe, keep it at 187. And when he comes in, when Jeremy Sisto's character comes in, he kind of upsets the balance. So somebody's got to go. And now he becomes the 187th person. Well, he's realizing, I got to get out of this town. He tries to leave the town. So that's the whole premise of the film. But we saw the preview for it, and it's this big, epic special effect. I mean, legendary special effect.
Totally legendary, then.
I was watching this going, what the fuck am I watching? And you see the bridge battle scene where they're coming up as knights and crusaders, that kind of thing, and the dark is on one side, the light's on the other, and all of a sudden it stops, and it does that Matrix panorama 360 degrees, and I'm just like, what the hell is this? And apparently it was the first really high-budget film to come out of the Soviet Union.
Oh.
And so I was like, well, I'm interested already. I'd like to see what other people could... Because I've been of the opinion for the longest time that, yes, Bali will sit there and produce the most films per capita every year. But nobody makes a film like the U.S. Special effects, location, that sort of stuff. I mean, you look at some of the greatest films ever made around the world, most of them are going to be from the U.S. I'll give you an example. When Star Wars was released, one of the big space operas was Space Battleship Yamato, which was an anime at the time in Japan. And the creators had kept hearing this buzz. What's this thing about Star Wars? So they went to Hawaii to see the film. They came back. Now, this is A New Hope, which was not the most action-packed film of the series. It set up Empire and Return of the Jedi. So they came back to Japan going, we're out of a job. We have no idea how we're going to top this. However, I am a huge, huge fan of Space Battleship Yamato in all its movies, with the exception of the alternate universe one and the actual series. It's, I mean, Star Trek, like the Next Generation, Voyager, and so on and so forth, post Gene Roddenberry, they were big fans of the Yamato series. As a matter of fact, the twin sister ship in the Next Generation of the Enterprise was the Yamato.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, there's a lot of cookies hidden in Star Trek. I mean, they were huge fans, and they tried to bring in, I mean, I think another ship was the Akira.
Yeah.
Because they're huge anime fans. Nerds making nerd television shows. I mean,
hell yeah.
How much more epic can you get?
I mean, you know, I am a huge geek, so...
Outside has on a geek squad shirt.
Isn't he like 7?
And he's a geek in training.
Yeah, whatever.
I want your shirt.
Yeah.
You went, my shirt? Yeah, your shirt. And you just looked at me and went,
Oh, goodness.
okay.
Like, needs a tissue.
Now, if you had to have an album,
There's a runny nose.
Oh, that's
if you were stuck on a stranded island, and you've already gone through your movie library, you had to have an album. One album.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Okay. I can see that.
Yeah, because that has all kinds of different moods to it, and it's, to me, and you know what a
I can see myself on a...
fanatic of Zeppelin I am, but if you just go pick one, I'd probably pick that because it's one of those that takes you on a journey through the entire thing.
Right, because it's a concept album. It's about birth to death.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like, it's one of those things that just takes you on a ride, I guess is how I want to put it.
Right. But I can see myself at the last title track, you know, if I'm Tom Hanks' character on Castaway and I'm at the top of the mountain singing Brain Damage to the top of my lungs, because guess what? I think I'd be a little mad by the time I got to... I'm stuck on an island for 4 years. I lost my tooth with a fucking ice...
I lost my tooth!
My best friend's a fucking ball.
My tooth is
I
gone!
would do the orchestra string thing, too. I'd find a little stick. I'd be singing about brain damage.
I was trying to chew and I only had one tooth and now it's gone.
What about you? Can you narrow it down to one album?
Hell no.
I mean, it's one of those things where just snap judgment, just go boom. Because that's
No,
what I do.
and I've always hated stupid questions. But everybody would be like, "You're stuck in an island. What would you do?" Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I mean, if I knew I was going to be
If you're
stuck
going to be stuck
there,
on an island, you're not going to know it beforehand.
Kid Meat, my MP3 player.
well, you know, if you're right. I was going to say, if you had your iPod and you had like 1,000 songs on it, you won't have to worry so much about that.
Till the battery dies.
Exactly.
Maybe there's electrical outlets on a coconut tree. You don't know.
There is in Gilligan's Island, anyway.
Well, that's because the professor was a smart son of a bitch.
Who couldn't build a raft,
Yeah, that was the thing that I always
but
fucking...
could build all these other little things.
I mean, I look back at my youth going, am I the only one that realizes that Bert and Ernie were the only 2 6, 7-year-olds that had their own apartment with no parents? Am I the only one that's watching Gilligan's Island going, you just made a fucking generator and you couldn't build a fucking raft with all those fucking trees? What the fuck?
Exactly.
Well, I mean, I can understand. Well, then we wouldn't have a show. We'll make it realistic.
Exactly.
At least attempt to leave the island. You know, like
Well, at
build
least
something.
say if I built a boat, where would I go out in the middle of the fucking Pacific?
I mean, you can look
I
at the
need a
fucking...
sex tent in order to continue.
You can look at the stars at night and pretty much guesstimate within 500 square miles where the fuck you're stranded at.
If you're smart.
True, and apparently
And
the
that's
professor
right.
was.
And then there was Ginger.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was. It was sideline.
God. Yeah. They were just like, I ain't leaving that ass.
She wouldn't talk to us in the real world anyway.
Exactly.
What was missing from that show?
I would say make like the French and blow this place.
What was
but
missing
no.
from that show was somebody with proper British English.
Hello.
That would have made the show hysterical. Somebody talking about, you know, shit biscuits and fuck buckets.
Hello, I'd like a shit biscuit, please.
Oh,
With
man.
my T's and...
Yes. Anyone for a game of piss knuckles?
Oh, do tell. How do you play that game? I'm that bored. I want to know.
Anybody for a game of naked twister? Oh, Ginger. Yes, perfect.
The rant I want to go on.
Really?
The news article is U.S. goes on offense against digital piracy. Now, some points I can somewhat understand the stance that the government's taking. I think it's kind of going a little on the extreme side where it starts out with the ICE director, John Morton, was sitting there telling in a press release announcing the seizures of certain websites. He goes off by saying American business is threatened by those who produce counterfeit trademark goods and pirate copyright materials. Personally, I think that's over-exaggerating the issue. Mm-hmm. However, he continues by saying from counterfeit pharmaceuticals. Now that I can understand being a safety issue. Counterfeit pharmaceuticals, that I can understand to a point.
To a point.
It's not Homeland Security.
Exactly.
Okay? It's not like there's terrorists going out behind their fucking computer talking about, oh, I'm going to make up, some fake Tylenol. Tylenol's caffeine anyway. I don't understand why people are making a big deal out of it.
Tylenol's not caffeine. Caffeine, or Tylenol-free is.
A headache is generally caused, a standard headache is generally caused by dehydration. Dehydration, and when you feel the pain in your head, it's the capillaries that connect the veins to the arteries constrict, restricting the blood flow. When you take Tylenol or any form of quick remedies, like Bayer, I'm not so sure about Advil, but when you take the pills, it goes immediately into your system as caffeine. Most of the pill is caffeine, causing your heart to accelerate faster, to pump the blood faster, to open up the capillaries.
That sounds like the whole purpose behind Excedrin, but Tylenol,
but you get fucked if you have a migraine that's the opposite, where the veins don't actually constrict, but they dilate. So
right.
So then taking over-the-counter medications don't actually do shit
right,
for you.
Which is why, personally, because I suffer from migraines, I have to get a prescription.
Yep.
Which is like $125.
It's not cheap.
For 3 pills?
It's not cheap. But my migraines
His brother has to get them.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. My migraines are infrequent. They're not as frequent as they used to be. But my migraines are generally caused by stress. And they make up for when the last time I had them. Now, the best remedy that I've been able to have, go in a dark room for a couple of days and I'm fine. But whispering sounds like a jackhammer out of a fucking driveway. It's the softest noise sounds like God talking to me from a megaphone from my neighbor's house. It's that bad. Light is very piercing. It's like knives going through my frontal lobe.
It's
that bad. But anyway, this idiot is saying that, from counter pharmaceuticals, which, okay, to a point I understand. And then he goes on to say, electronics to pirated movies, music, and software, IP fees undermine the U.S. economy and jeopardize public safety. Jeopardize public safety?
Bullshit.
You're going to sit there and tell me that if I want to get a wild hair up my ass and download the shittiest Metallica album that I'm putting people's safety in jeopardy?
Bullshit.
We gotta get Abby in the...
So the crackdown is dubbed Operation In Our Sights. And it's being spearheaded by the National Intellectual Property Rights Coordination Center, working in coordination with U.S. attorneys' offices across the country.
May I interject slightly?
Sure.
Why in the fuck is it that every fucking thing the United States does has to have a war connotation or a I'm going to blast you connotation, such as in our sights, or the war on poverty, or the war on drugs, or the war on this?
Because we're bipolar?
Because we're violent. And this country was spawned in violence, and it's been violent ever fucking since.
Oh, yeah. First of all, the government should not be involved. This is a merchant issue, not a political or government issue. It has nothing to do with the fucking U.S.
If the merchant who's being stolen from wants to sue, they should have the right to do
But that's what it goes on in this article, and I'm sorry, it's not the U.S. It should not have anything to do with the U.S. government. I want to make sure I paraphrase that. But it goes on to say that there are
I will get the water bottle.
Companies in the industry that have their own means of going after these people. They're just bitching so loud that the government, they ask the government, we need help, especially from smaller and medium-sized.
Like I do.
Money.
Yeah, it's basically greasing palms.
Exactly.
Free downloading or streaming media content from internet websites, including movies, TV shows, sports events, and music, is a big and rapidly growing business. With an exact number, while an exact number is difficult to pin down, available data and estimates show that millions of streamings of downloads occur daily. Well, here's my personal take on this. If you didn't release shitty material, I may not be inclined to want to download. Why would I want to pay my hard-earned money for something that's going to suck? I'm sorry, Metallica, fuck you. Your last couple albums suck.
It's not just them. It's other bands that don't have shit.
I get that. But if you look,
I don't think you do.
No. I keep that. I understand that. This is one of the reasons why we've had this discussion before. However, if you get, and I was hoping to save this for next week, but I have to draw it out. I've got a recording where Bruce from Maiden says, if you don't think my album is worth the money, download it. Mm-hmm. We're not going to bitch. Mm-hmm. So you've got some artists that says, go ahead and download it. And then you have other ones like Metallica, I got sand in my fucking clit, talking about, it's illegal, it's my intellectual property. I'm sorry, if you're going to sell something, it's no longer your intellectual property. You're selling your intellectual property.
It's yours to sell.
It's yours to sell, but generally, such as when I called out Lars, he sat there and spearheaded bringing Napster offline and won. Okay.
Now they're being bought out by the
now they're being bought out by the guy who used to own Napster, which I thought irony. It's great. But the thing that pissed me off about Lars is that he sat there and said, "No download, nothing for free. It's intellectual property. You fucking pay for it." What does he do with the people who created Guitar Hero? Oh, I found out that you have some of my songs, and then my kids are going to have a free copy.
Right.
Fuck you!
Exactly.
Fuck you! But it is $69.99. Kiss my ass.
You're using him as a reason to want to steal from somebody else who doesn't have the money to go after you for it. And that's where I object. If it sucks, don't download it. So, or if you're not sure, you can listen to it on various sites.
Yeah, for like 10 seconds.
Sure, but
if I want to hear what the whole thing sounds like as a whole, because I'm not going to sit there and say, okay, this song sucks because 5 seconds had the weakest drum roll. I'm not going to do that. I want to hear the whole thing as a whole, but I have to pay for it.
Why?
If I want to listen to the album as a whole, I have to pay for it.
Well, you know what?
There's no other option available.
Because I'll give you that. There used to be, in Iceland, in fact, now it probably exists, or I don't know if it still does in Europe or not. Calvi, maybe you could regale me with this one, but when I went to Iceland, in the record stores, you could actually put the thing, open it up, put it on the turntable, and listen to it, and then buy it.
Yeah, you don't have that option anymore.
No, you don't. But if most kids today, and you're about 20 years younger than I am, so, I'm an old fart, but most kids today don't look at it like I looked at it back then as, hey, I'll listen to, ooh, yeah, boom, I'll go buy it. Most people today go, why the fuck should I buy it when I can get it, when I can steal it for nothing, and then I have it in my collection, and I don't want to buy it. See, but also, back then, you had vinyl, which you have in the house right now.
Yes.
Which the artwork on some of them was just phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, Physical Graffiti is one. Dark
Sound
Side of the
Thunder.
Moon. Huh?
Delicate Sound of Thunder.
Delicate Sound of Thunder. Yeah. There's a ton of vinyl that's awesomely produced. The packaging is awesome. You don't have that anymore.
No, especially in CDs.
Yeah.
That was one of the things Calvin mentioned in his email was if you open up the records for the Iron Maiden stuff, there was artwork all over it. You get the CD version, it's like, where's the artwork?
Well, Robert Plant
the
said
reason
something
why I
The
bought
about
the
lack
album.
of competent visual art in the CD sleeves is a whole nother rant, and a whole I could go up for the lack of. And this is the thing about different forms of art no longer communicating with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, there are exceptions, of course, but the majority of music that is released, the sleeves themselves are just complete shit.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
There's no thought. There's no connectivity to the music. They don't try.
And you can't read shit on there anyway. But back when when they had vinyl, you opened it up and you could read the fucking lyrics on the sleeve.
What I liked about, I've got Rush's Exit Stage Left double live record. Mm-hmm. When you open it up, it lists covers from the band's previous releases up to that release.
And if you had something this big, you can't fucking see that.
But if I'm going to pay $30 for a recording, God damn it, it better have some artwork in it. What am I paying $30 for?
Right. Nowadays?
Nowadays it's just,
But, see, now bands can put up, I forget who was it. I don't like Coldplay, but they basically marketed one of their albums on the web and said, here...
Radiohead?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, you donated what you thought it was worth.
Exactly.
Right.
And
look at Smashing Pumpkins. I hate me some Smashing Pumpkins, but their last album, they fucked the radio industry, the record industry by uploading their last release for free.
Yeah.
So my question is, is the government stepping in because you got people, quote unquote, obtaining it without purchasing it?
No.
Or are you?
I'll tell you why the government's stepping in.
Well,
because the record industry has shitpots full of money, and they can keep screaming until the government does something. So it's here, have some more money.
Have this wonderful steak dinner.
Yes. Oh, and thank you, Mr. Congressman. Here, have some more money.
But you still have bands that upload their shit for free.
Right. Well, see, they're getting around the here, have some more money by doing that. They're basically saying, fuck you, record company, fuck you, lawyers, fuck you, everybody. This is our property. We'll do with it as we please. And you know that they make a lot of their money on touring anyway.
Yes, they make no money recording.
Right.
As a matter of fact, they actually
lose,
quote unquote, going dead while they record.
Right.
Because the record label will loan them some money to make sure they have all the equipment they need.
Loan my ass.
And then they have to pay, what? What?
I was just going to say, it brings up the discussion that we brought up on several shows already, the difference between musicians now actually being quote-unquote artists and just doing what makes them money.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're talking about bands like The Who, Pink Floyd...
No, I'm talking about when a
versus
musician makes music. You were talking about certain musicians that, like Smashing Pumpkins, that released it for free versus people like Metallica who, you know, are very tight on, you know, who uses what and how, whatever.
Yeah,
yeah. You could see with visual artists as well, people approach the usage of their art in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also another argument of, are the musicians today actually making art? Do they go into the studio thinking, I want to make something that's going to last long past my time? Or what's hot, what's new, what's now, what's going to make me some money?
Yeah, like the artists that I grew up, well, I mean, I'll put it this way. The major big-name acts were making what they wanted to make. And back in those days, before there was light, the record companies would let them make one or two shitty records in a row to get to a good one. They let them develop back then. They would start off making something that was almost unintelligible, and they'd let them make another one, and they'd let them make another one, and then maybe that third one was really good, and then that band would start making money. There is no such waiting time for the recording industry to wait for you to wake up and make a good record anymore. They want you to instantly make a good one, and they'll come in and they'll go, now the guitar solo's
one
over
that
here.
makes a lot of money.
Huh?
It's not even that they want to make a good record, quote unquote.
They just want to make money.
They want one that's going to make them money.
Right. Exactly. But I mean, you know, and that's why they say things like, okay, yeah, on that song, yeah, it's okay, but if you put the guitar solo over here, and then if you kind of whined in the middle there and made the girls cry, yeah, that's really good right there. Yeah. Oh, and they'll squeal and go to mommy and ask for $18 to buy your CD. Mm-hmm. And that's what they do. Consultants have ruined the recording industry, and they've ruined the radio industry, and they've ruined the television industry, and they've ruined the movies.
I mean,
literally.
I think the main question I'm asking is, music today that's released, how much is it someone being an artist versus someone who's just trying to be a very intelligent marketing person?
Well, that depends on who you talk to. If you look at Gene Simmons, he will market Kiss to death.
Oh, yeah.
Most of his ideas make money, and most of those making money ideas are good. But he's more about marketing the name and music as opposed to writing Beethoven's Fifth.
Right.
But
they were never about Beethoven-ish anyway.
Well, I'll get to that in a second. Most of your hip-hop is just recycled garbage. And it's there because it's got a decent beat, and people will cream over it because, I mean, one of the reasons why, in my personal theory, is that Lady Gaga wears the clothes that she wears is because most people will catch on to the fact that if she's not shocking somebody with her outfits, they're going to be wise to the fact that she has literally no talent. So they make these records with a recycled beat. It's the same friggin' music. I mean, if you literally break down today's pop, you go back 10 years, it's pretty much the same songs, they're just recycled. And it's catchy. And kids have a 5-minute attention span anyway. So it's about making the money. I mean, literally, go out and find me a kid that's 15 years old that actually has more than a 15-minute attention span. You'll be hard-pressed to find more than 5.
Well,
you're talking about a society that votes more on fucking American Idol than they do their own fucking politics.
That, and they'll spend more time obsessing over that than going to see a local musician that has 5 times or 10 times or 100 times the talent.
Don't get me started on Scotty. Don't get me started. Do not get me started.
What? Aren't I wonderful? Anyway,
Scotty, he's the latest American Idol. He's from Garner.
Oh.
Yeah.
And everybody on Facebook is like, I support my local artist. I'm going to go see him down at the RBC Center. And I'm like, you don't support your local artist? Fuck you.
I can't stand American Idol. I've never been able to see it.
Yes, I hate to say this. I think I'm going to retract my original Chav of the Week. And my new Chav of the Week is Judas Priest. They're all Chavs this week because they appeared on American Idol.
Except
K. Downing because he retired. That's what saved him from being Chav.
Saved his bleed mass. Oh, no, you can't have a bleed mass on television. No.
But no, I mean, I'm looking at it, and then all of a sudden, because it's garbage music, and it's garbage products, now they're talking about it's a threat to national security that you're taking from it?
You know,
fuck you.
I am so sick of listening to the U.S. government talk about threats to national security when they won't even describe what their national security interests are, number one, so they can make them up as they go along, which they constantly do. And we are so ridiculously overstrength compared to any adversary we could pick. So really now.
Says the Motion Picture Association of America claims illegal streaming and downloading costs American workers 375,000 jobs and $16 billion in earnings every year. Well, stop releasing remakes. Stop releasing stupid movies.
Exactly.
I mean, come on. What was the year of friggin' it was the Dukes of Hazzard.
Well, that's a rehash from the television.
Right. I mean, these stupid-ass movie rehashes and fucking remakes. I mean, how many times does Spider-Man need a revamp?
How many times are you going to do the Pirates of the Caribbean?
I got another rant.
What?
Fuck it. You're talking about movies?
Yeah.
Let's talk about how they take foreign films, make them in the U.S., and then try and act like it's their own. The remake of Let the Right One In, which is, is it
Let Me In?
That's the remake.
Yeah.
It said on the Facebook page for the remake, the American remake, which is, I looked at the screenshots, I watched the trailer, it's pretty much shot for shot, like the original foreign film. It said on the fucking Facebook page that it was written and directed by this American guy. I'm like, you're a fucking liar. You didn't write that shit. You didn't fucking direct that shit at all. You copied someone else in another country. Now you're trying to market it.
So how come he's not being arrested for copyright infringement?
That's what I want to know, because that pissed me the fuck off.
Well, you know why?
Like, you
because an American did it. It's okay when America does it.
Motherfucker didn't do shit and try to act like he was all big bad, like he fucking was smart about that. No,
exactly. But I love America. They can steal and murder all day long, and it's all right. Scotty rules.
I forget. I have no intention of steamrolling your argument.
No, that was just my argument. My argument's done now. That was all I have to say. I get that out. I followed that shit up for years. And I'm like, where you didn't do shit.
But here's the thing about this article that really stands out to me that makes me extremely angry with my government. It says...
Not too loud. They're going to come to your house.
The federal government has adopted...
He's not 12. He's fine.
That's awesome.
Know, the American government has arrested 12-year-olds for downloading music and prosecuted them.
Yes. They're saying
at the behest of the record industry.
They're saying in this article that if you are arrested even for a first timer, you still face up to 5 years in prison and restitution.
Yes.
But here's what's pissing me off, is that while they're seizing these websites, they're also saying...
That was awesome. Giselle. No, he can chop.
The government is saying that... Okay, so you have the site in the United States, and we shut you down. We'll still go after you if you go to another country. Fuck you!
Right.
You're not in that jurisdiction.
Oh, excuse me, Pakistan. Excuse me, Iraq.
I'm sorry,
Afghanistan.
the government does not have a right to do any of that.
But they're doing it anyway.
I'm just saying, they do not have a right to do it.
No, of course they don't, but they're doing it anyway.
So, I'm sorry, I think I'm going to retract the Judas Priest being Chav of the Week, and I think it's going to be my judgment.
I think so. And then, of course, like I said,
That's
watch
three-
for the
that
door.
There's 3 chavs in one sitting that have gone for
Was
Chav of
it
the Week.
something? 3
Should we-
blind chavs.
Oh!
3 blind
Should
chavs.
we have like an American
See how
Idol
they suck.
poll
See how
for
they
the
suck.
Chav of the Week is this week?
Yeah!
We could do like sudden death and everything, where we actually narrow it down like it's the NCAA. Where we
Yeah!
actually have like the East Coast teams and the West Coast teams, so you have a list here and a list here.
It all comes in.
And it all comes. Oh yeah, we can do that.
All these branches of.
Yeah, and it'd be cool if we get like chavs from India, you know? That man, he was a bastard! What are we doing?
It'll be very similar to the epic rap battles of history.
Oh my god.
That'd
Those
be
are
awesome.
By the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, go into YouTube and type in epic rap battles in history. That's all you guys say.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Word.
So you ranted.
I ranted.
Do you feel better now?
I feel much better now.
I like
Kiss my
ranting.
ass.
It's fun. It's fun.
So what else we got on the menu for the day?
We do need Cal to Skype in with us
And-
for live taping.
Just put up an Iron Maiden cover if he's camera shy.
That's what I told him.
Yeah, put up an Iron Maiden cover.
We don't.
Cal.
We just need the voice, really.
Yeah, we just like
I mean,
your
if he
voice.
doesn't
We
wanna-
want to hear you.
If he doesn't want to show us what he looks like, that's fine.
Yep. It doesn't matter. Just put something right in front of your face then. That's it.
Put the gorilla mask on. It'll be good.
Yeah, put a gorilla mask
a
on.
lampshade.
A
There you
lampshade.
go. Lampshade.
The unknown Brit.
Did you want me to bring up, because he emailed in with his
Yes,
favorites?
yes, please.
Okay.
We want to actually start
I'm
posting
gonna-
his feedback and anybody else that decides to email us with this shit.
Yeah, you do it.
Okay, well,
Damn it! You do it,
It's
Giselle.
more startling. It's not so startling that when he calls me
It's the
my
damn it.
real name. It's
Damn
the
it.
scream he has after he
Damn it!
breaks me out every time. But no, you were talking about. We talked about Christopher Walken,
Yeah.
and he mentioned that his favorite Christopher Walken was his role as Hessian Horseman from Sleepy Hollow.
He was a badass in that film. I will admit that, even though he had 2 lines. One was was telling the girl to shush, and the other one was a big battle cry. But yeah, he was pretty badass in that film.
I have to agree. I did like Sleepy Hollow as a film as a whole.
But if I had to pick my favorite role, it would probably be Prophecy as Gabriel.
I gotta say the Prophecy films as well for him. Yeah. Iron Maiden album was Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. He says, because there are some epic tracks on there, which I'll link up to form a story, and it's like a bridge between Golden Era material and the new stuff.
I can agree with that. You said that you were just listening to the actual song, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son.
It is epic.
And it was just epic.
It is.
If I had to... I can't pick a favorite Iron Maiden number. I really can't.
See, and you bust my balls for not being able to pick a favorite.
And I'm not a huge fan, but what you were playing me earlier, as you had
Change
just...
that.
Huh?
Change that to the point where you're not even going to wear that shirt anymore.
Oh, I doubt that.
Oh, he's wearing a
I
lot
might
of...
You didn't
also-
say you didn't think you were going to listen to 80s music, so don't talk to me.
I might also
And-
wear an Iron Maiden shirt because I think their covers are cool. And I'm
That's
beginning
a
to
shabby thing to
understand
do.
what
To
the
wear a
musical
t-shirt of a
fuss
band
is
and you don't
about.
even listen to music.
Exactly. That's a poser.
No, but I'm just saying I'm slowly now not so...
Old.
Yeah. Look at the respect I get over there.
We don't respect our elders. Especially
Georgiana, look at the respect I'm not receiving here. I am just miffed.
And
I'm
I'm just
miffed.
laughing.
Huh?
I said, and I'm just laughing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it down low because I'm off on the microphone. Let's see.
She's keeping it on the down low. Word.
Japanese Horror said he has to agree with me on Audition.
That sounds like a kiss up.
He said that it's fucking twisted and it has great visuals. I dare you to watch it.
What is
Okay,
it?
I need a copy.
Audition. It's a Japanese.
Illegal copy.
It's a Japanese horror film. But yeah, I believe Audition was the Japanese film. This was like his introduction into Japanese horror films.
Mm.
I was like, hey, watch this film. Whatever. He came back and he says, I'm never watching Japanese horror films again.
Obviously,
Wow.
he didn't see The Grudge.
It's great. Cal's favorite sci-fi film is District 9. Says that
Pretty good.
I like that movie.
Charlotte Copley, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm going to have to disagree with his opinion on...
is fucking amazing in this film, and it's a pretty good version on human reaction to threats to society, which we discussed earlier in this recording.
Unfortunately, I'm going to have to disagree with his opinion based on Charlotte's performance, because he played Howling Mad Murdoch in the 18 remake, and that was a better role.
In your opinion.
He did a really good job.
But I'm just saying, if I had to pick the two...
I mean...
I haven't seen it yet.
You haven't seen it yet?
It's a great film.
It's a great film. It's kind of slow.
I have it in my queue.
It's kind of slow, little boring because it's documentary-esque.
Mm-hmm.
But it does show exactly how the human race would react to something.
Let's see. Arnie film, he said Total Recall.
Oh, yeah.
Just because it's fucking crazy. Plus, nobody had envisioned an alien hooker with 3 breasts before this film.
Take my hand if you want to go in the back and have sex. That's what you should say.
Benny had the best one. I got 5 kids to feed.
Oh, yeah.
I did really...
That was his best Arnie film?
Arnie.
Oh, Arnie. Okay.
But, I did really enjoy Total Recall. I totally forgot about it.
It's got Michael Ironside in it. And he's like, Ronnie Cox, speaking of villains with great lines, he comes in at the end of the film and he says, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to kill her, and I'm going to blow this up and be home for time for cornflakes. I fucking laugh every time I hear that line.
Walter Bruce Willis film?
You use that line at least once a week.
Yes. Home in time for cornflakes.
Walter Bruce Willis film is Fifth Element for the win. I have to agree.
You also have Ruby Ride.
I have to agree. Fifth Element is an amazing film. Oh, Kevin Smith film was Dogma.
Awesome.
He said he loved the religious iconography and influence, and was essentially a stoner movie.
Plus, it's also got what's his name in it?
George Carlin.
George Carlin in it. Thank you.
Amazing.
Although I did think his it also had what I also like about George Carlin is that he also appeared in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, talking about the rules of the road. George Carlin. Hitchhiking, he's like, you gotta observe the rules of the road, going down on the people who picked you up. And so a trucker pulls up, picks him up, and he's talking to Jay and Silent Bob across the street. He goes, just gotta, I take a shot and knock over once in a while, it's okay. And then all of a sudden he goes down like that because the trucker unzipped his pants and just rolled. And I'm like, wow.
I do enjoy George Carlin's stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless, he's a hilarious guy. I was watching his old HBO special from the 70s.
Yeah.
The other night, and it's still funny.
Oh yeah.
It's still funny.
Well, even though he was more a political satirist in the later ones, those I still thought were funny. Or spot on. As
Cal had anything else to contribute?
Yeah.
No, those were all of his favourites.
Right then.
Well, I don't think that was enough. He's heard 8 hours of our show, and that's it.
That's it?
I think we have more than 8 hours.
Now we do. Now we got 10 or 11.
That sounds like a C+ homework assignment. Well, we gave him enough homework to come
Well,
up
to
with
be
an
fair, he focused on Iron Maiden.
True, which we have to wait thanks to you until next week.
So it's all
Because
smack him hard.
He's a punk.
So should we...
He's Chav of the week.
There you go. He's changed his mind about 5 times so far.
It's hard to choose.
There's just so many Chavs.
Just for this week.
Shall we call it a day?
Are we calling it a day?
Are we?
I keep going.
I mean, I could keep going.
But, it's like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right, let's call it a day.
Oh,
so, hopefully, if there's no Harold camping, we should have the maiden show in a week.
He didn't want any help.
I noticed.
And thank you, Mr. Calv.
So what? So before we go, you were going to talk about Robert Plant after the maiden show.
Yeah, sure.
Did you figure out which band that you wanted to cover?
No.
And I don't.
Supposed to come up with a band to cover?
Oh, we figured everybody would want to cover their favorite band.
Nobody wants to listen to bands that I want to cover.
But we want to know about them.
Yeah, we want to know about them. And you're the best person to
discuss them. You started this monster.
See, all they would get out of me is...
I said I could talk about
you could talk about
4 hours, and you said
Fleetwood
challenge
Mac.
accepted.
That didn't mean that I was prepared to bring a band to talk about for 4 hours.
Well, you keep
A
talking
band
about...
that nobody wants to listen to.
Look, you keep talking about why don't you just talk about them while the microphone's on?
Talk about some else. I'd like to know about some else.
See, this is the first time that I'm around a bunch of people that actually want to hear about Oomph. Okay, so,
Exactly.
Look, I want to know.
About the,
I want to hear.
About Oomph. I can talk about the lead singer from Ice Pressure, who's done Megahertz and Ice Pressure,
right?
And Noel Pix, which is basically the musician. It was Alex and Noel. And talk about them. Okay. For 4 hours. They're both Oomph and.
So are we doing a show of each person's band?
Each
for
person's
4 hours?
favorite band.
You don't have to do it for 4 hours.
No,
you can do.
She just challenged me. She said it was not an epic win unless I actually had 4 hours of recorded material.
Because he said that he could talk about Iron Man for 4 hours. So I said, you know what? It doesn't count unless you actually.
He won't have anybody in the room, though. He won't have anybody in the room, though.
You can talk to himself.
You talk to I'm
going to be sauced. No, I'm going to be sauced for it at the beginning.
You don't have to come up with 4 hours of material.
Oh, good.
But what we wanted to do...
See, but that's the thing, is I'm more about the music.
Right.
I'm all about the music, so I don't really go in and look at the biography and memorize. I'm bad with dates, I'm bad with names, so I'm going to have to have
in the music itself.
I'm all about the music.
You just gave me dates, or not dates, but you just gave me names and side projects to the 2 biggest bands you listen to, so you're not that bad with it. You actually know some material. That's what I'm saying. I just called you out. Yes, I did. you know what you're talking about, and you just need to ignore it. How does that foot taste? You just because you just open mouth and insert.
No, you impart it the way you want people to understand it. That's all.
See, I'm horrible with band names.
I'm so used to people not caring about my German bands I listen to.
Well, but we care.
It's weird, okay? I'm learning.
I want to know why you like them.
Yes.
Because I'm listening to it going, I actually like the beat. It's actually pretty good, but I'm pretty sure I like it for different reasons. Just like I told you, I'm the kind of fan that wants to listen to music. I want to know what they're singing about, and I don't want to learn the second language while I'm doing that. So that's why I appreciated their latest recording more so than you, because you think... Right. You believe that it should be released in the origin language.
The way that it was intended when the artist wrote it, yes.
And I enjoyed the English version because then I was like, oh, I know what he's singing about now. But you know German. I don't. So you think...
It's a little rusty, I need to...
Well, mine's a hell of a lot more rusty than yours. My father would be disappointed if he found out I only remembered 3 words.
Ooh. I think you know more than that. You just don't want to give yourself credit for it.
I actually couldn't talk good more and Glockenspiel.
Mostly what I know in foreign languages isn't stuff you can
come on.
Oh, I know a couple things in French.
Sounds.
But I love throwing that one out. But I want to know why you like it. I mean, it's like she comes up and says, I like this, and so half the time I'm like, really? Why do you like that? And she explains it to me. I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying. The other half I was like, really? Why do you like that? So it's all about what she likes. Same thing with Fred. I've known Fred going on 6 years. I know half the reason, 90% of the reason why he likes most of the bands he listens to. But he'll throw something out where I'm like, you actually like that?
Like which one? What was the last time?
That one really old tune that you said my mother would recognize, and I'm like, you listen to that?
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're 20 years older than I am, but I'm just going.
I listen to a lot of old music.
Why would you listen to that?
Oh hell! I mean, Frank Sinatra's Strangers. Why
would you listen to Frank?
I grew up on
because there's 2 or 3 songs of his that I would listen to. If you were to say, what would you have on your iPod if you were stuck somewhere?
Yeah,
that'd be one song. Yeah, because it reminds me of my childhood.
What are you talking about?
He said, well, I asked him why he listens to Frank.
I love Frank.
Why? Good God, why?
Oh my God, it's the crooner voice. Oh my God.
Strangers in the nude. Anyway.
Yeah, and you can do that to it too.
Yeah. We're copulating strangers in the nude.
I actually sing that tune half the time. I'll go walk around, just have the strangers in the night.
Yeah, that's an awesome song.
I'm mostly Italian.
Yeah.
Well, see.
So with Frank Sinatra, I mean,
you grew up
listening to crooners, yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And crooners.
Who cares?
Dean Martin.
Metallica does.
Would you rather listen to a criminal crooner, or would you rather listen to a drugged out sex addict?
Yeah,
like both of them are breaking the law. I don't see what the difference is, but I don't listen to.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're gonna have that opinion about the person,
well, no, I'm saying that.
Have you ever given it a try?
Who are you talking to?
Strangers,
my grandfather listened to Frank.
Getting together,
and I listened to it, going, "Why the hell are you listening to this?"
Oh
Just
like, understand too. I grew up studying ballet. I studied ballet in college. I studied modern in college. I've seen modern dance pieces done to Frank Sinatra songs, and they were well done. And it meshes well. There's more to music than just words.
I understand that, but the reason why I think I can narrow this down. The reason why I don't like Bing Crosby, the reason why I don't like Frank Sinatra is the same reason why I don't like traditional Christian music.
It was shoved down his throat.
No, there's to me, there's no feeling behind it.
Hell, that's fine.
Alan Sherman doing Hello Fada. I listened to that.
Frank Sinatra.
You see that pop up on my Facebook page.
But then again, I can't say anything. I listen to 80s new wave. And it's like a fucking rice cake.
But you reminded me that there are good pieces
I like
to that.
Cure.
Old Depeche Mode, New Depeche Mode.
I
like Cure.
I don't know.
It all depends on what you were raised with. And I was raised around a bunch of different stuff. Like I heard Tom Jones, and there's a Tom Jones tune or two that I don't mind.
Well, I mean, my mother was a Beatles fan.
Right.
I don't like the Beatles. It
depends on what Tom Jones is singing.
Oh, you poor thing. But
we all live in the Yellow Submarine. How can you not be drugged out?
Yeah.
That song is about
album
drugs. is about drugs.
I don't judge them by what dope.
What about Oobla-dee, Oobla-da? I mean, Lord, I love it, but.
Well,
I still want the license plate for Oobla-dee and Oobla-da, but you know.
My favorite Beatles song is
yeah.
Well, My Guitar Gently Weeps is my favorite Beatles song.
Oh, yeah.
The only Beatles song I like is Hey Jude. That is the only.
That is so overplayed. I am so sick of it.
God.
Yeah, please.
I like it.
I go to like
Revolver,
Rubber Soul.
What the fuck, man? Really? Take another hit. I Am the Walrus, Cuckoo Cuckoo. Take another hit.
I go back to Revolver, Rubber Soul, Sgt. Pepper. Those are the ones I like.
See, I like the White House.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Love it. I could probably play it or Abbey Road.
Love that. Now,
God,
there's a guy that's.
We're still recording.
That's fine.
Okay. There's a guy that's that I know that's Rick's age that he's a huge Beatle fan. He does not like Abbey Road.
I want to know.
I know. He says that's too pop. He likes Revolver, Rubber Soul, and Before.
The White Album
because
and
it's
Abbey Road.
You know, like Mercy Beat and all that. And I'm like, no. I'm glad they got
when they do When I'm 64, it's like my favorite song. Oobla-dee, Oobla-da. It reminds me of when the girls. It reminds me of when the girls were little and they were in the back of the car singing that song and asking for it over and over and over again. Yeah. So that song has been my favorite.
I had to listen to Fear of the Dark by Iron Maiden 8 times the other day to take to school.
Fear of the Dark!
Monkey Man
excuse me, I was doing Ronnie
Iron
James
Maiden.
Dio.
Loves it. He gets in my car and wants to listen to Kesha.
Aww.
Or Black Eyed Peas, or something like that. He's got his mix of music. Depends on who he's with, is what he listens to.
And that's awesome.
He tries to reach for my volume knob.
Yeah.
In the Jeep. I took the top off to try to clean it out. Hadn't been cleaned out in a while. And so I was cleaning it out, wiping it down, and jumps into the Jeep from the tailgate and notices he asked if I would play it. I said, sure. So I got the top off, so I got the radio still playing. And he snakes his way to the front. Now, I've got it at a pretty decent volume. And he tries to turn it up even louder. And what's really messed up is that he's sitting on my front seat, literally acting like Bruce.
Yeah.
He knows the lines.
And he's doing...
got the attitude in his face and everything, and I'm just going...
I was like, I need my video camera. I really do.
Yes.
It would have been awesome.
I need to send this to me.
We put it on the site.
Yeah. We would have to.
Whoa,
absolutely. But then he's in the back seat of my car singing
Alejandro.
I mean, hell, I'll listen to Richard
he's singing
Cheese.
Kesha's newest, or he's singing Jar of Hearts by Christina Perry.
I'll listen to Richard Cheese and stuff.
He'll be in the back singing. He will.
Or Rape Me by Nirvana.
Oh, yeah.
Rape me, my friend.
Yeah.
See, I like Katy Perry. I like my pop music. He hates it. Yes, see. The
kids in the house are growing up with this.
Exactly.
They're growing up.
Their father listens to new wave '80s music
and Dropkick
Murphys and Flogging Molly. He likes New Order.
Isn't Flogging Molly masturbation?
God, I hope not.
I'm not sure.
I think if you look up the definition,
I'm sure now that I think about it.
What was that, Bishop? No, there was some term that we were.
So they've got
Being the Jesuit, I think it was.
Huh?
Being the Jesuit.
Yeah, or something.
Right next
you
to
guys said that earlier. Next to Rasputin.
What?
But the one thing I just wanted to mention, because I meant to bring it up earlier and I forgot. With my German bands, one of the things that I love is when they release their records, it's not just songs with lyrics; they'll also release instrumental pieces.
Yes.
I mean, they're only just a couple minutes long, but there's some of my favorite tracks.
Those some one of the things that
and I was very upset and disappointed. Like, I understand, the whole thing about, evolving your music and things like that, and certain things to come along with you, other things left behind. Mm-hmm. But we also had the major discussion about how much control do record companies have within the music. So,
and they do.
Most recent releases by Oomph and by Ice Pressure, Oomph's CD Monster, and then Ice Pressure's newest CD Eyesight, both did not contain instrumental tracks.
Yeah,
because I'm very disappointed.
You know why? That's marketing crap.
Is it because of the record company, or do they just not want to include it? That's what concerns me the most.
That's the record.
They're trying so hard to break into new markets that they're sacrificing certain aspects that made them different, that made me want to listen to them in the first place. Because American bands don't fucking do that shit.
No, but you know what? The kids over here that get the Americanized stuff that they're trying to... No, but the kids that do are going to go back there and listen to the previous.
When Ice Pressure released Antikopa, which was the album before Eyesight, on the forums for Ice Pressure, people were bitching about the instrumental tracks and how awful they were and why did they include them. And I'm here listening for lyrics. I don't care about these. And I'm like, you're assholes.
Welcome to the chat.
You're all fucking assholes. Shut the fuck up.
Then the band should say,
fuck you.
Right. And they should say, fuck you, this is how it gets put on, or you don't play.
I mean, I'll play their instrumental music if I can.
I'll give you a supporting detail of your argument.
What's this?
This is the box set that I paid for, Up the Irons, the first 10 years of Iron Maiden stuff. 10 CDs. I paid $300 for this thing back in 1992, 1993. Mm-hmm. Okay? I found it at a CD store that's no longer around. In business. Okay? So, $300. Japanese. It's a Japanese import. That's all that came in it with 11 CDs. That's it. You'd think
they would have epic Iron Maiden box art.
They have huge tracks of land in there to tell you about everything.
I mean, and it's all in Japanese. There's no English in there. So I'm like, wow. I'm like, you couldn't put the English translation next to the Japanese translation? What the fuck?
Japan, what the fuck?
So I mean,
at least 8x10s of the cover art.
Yeah. Because originally they were sold as records.
You would think, wow.
Yeah.
Japan just fucked everybody up the ass.
But the only reason,
and
at the time I felt kind of jilted. I'm like, I spent $300 on import.
I would have brought the damn thing back.
Well, no, I'm a Maiden fan. But I felt justified.
Many other people actually have?
I felt justified. I felt justified.
No, she said really, so then I turned around and went, really?
I felt justified 10 years later. Because it's out of print, and I have yet to meet anybody else who has this.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
So I kind of felt justified, granted.
It still would have pissed me off.
Oh, it did.
Obviously, it still kind of hurts a little bit.
Thank you, still ranting.
But I mean, I was thinking, she had that argument. I knew something that would support it that I physically had.
Yeah.
I damn near 20 years later.
But like I said, I'm just concerned that the reason why instrumental tracks were not on the newest release is not because of their choice; it's because of other people.
It was the marketing. It was the marketing
consultants.
Industry. You want to break into the States. Albums in the States don't have instrumental tracks.
Right, and you know
which I think is bullshit.
Exactly.
I can think of several bands that Pink Floyd. Well, Pink Floyd's a UK band.
But contemporary rock albums were
no.
I mean, really, I can't see Nickelback doing anything decent, let alone an instrumental track.
Thank you.
Well, they were decent when they first came out, and then they sold out.
Exactly. The consultants got to them, and they listened, and then they got big and had money, so now they're glad in their own way that they listened to the consultants.
I love my German music for what they are. Just because they want to break out into other countries, I don't want them to have to sacrifice who they are.
Well, I am 1,000% behind you putting them on this station the way you want them heard and the songs that you want heard. Mm-hmm. and
that I can play. I do have to look into the German license.
Well, right, but I mean, but we should do this. And we should do this because, and then when the kids hear what you want them to hear, as opposed to the piss they're being fed, you know.
Like we said, this is why we started this project. Was to expose local artists mainly, but to take our favorite music and actually make people listen to it so that they understand that what they're currently listening to now is bullshit.
Like, for instance, there's tons of stuff by well-known artists, by billions record-selling artists that you could play that doesn't get any airplay. I put shit like that on my Facebook page all the fucking time. I'm like, here's another one that doesn't get any airplay, and that rubs the fact that it doesn't in my program director's nose. You know, it rubs his face in it, and it rubs everybody else in radio that I deal with. But I'm sorry, you know, the reason I'm doing this is because there's a void to fill. Your void, his, mine.
Your
really exactly. The one
time Fred doesn't make a perverted sex joke, you got to ruin it by turning it.
It would have been worse if we didn't talk about butt sex.
Sex.
The other thing too, you were talking about songs that don't get radio airplay. I can't imagine that our musicians, especially in the States, have any drive to actually make a full record that's great, because if all that gets played is your singles, why should they care?
Put the rest of it as
piss
that's why on the cutting room floor.
I want to play the songs that aren't the singles.
Well, okay, a perfect example of that is Uncle Cracker.
Well, look, B-sides is a dying art now.
I know, but Uncle Cracker, he puts out whatever that, you know, whatchamacallit, I forget, I can't remember the song.
Crap!
Yeah. No, but there was one remake that he did, and that got huge airplay. The rest of it was, or I think so, the rest of it was all cussing and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
He's got a new country album out.
Sure, well, because now he's learned if you don't cuss on the record, maybe they'll play more than one song from it.
Darius Rucker.
But Fred Zeppelin, you look like you're about out the door.
I gotta.
You gonna leave your flash drive here?
Sure.
I was gonna say, we're about to cut it off right now. Say goodbye for the evening.
Yeah.
If you don't mind signing us out.
We would like to say thank you very much for listening.
So 4 fingers deep.
4 fingers, and we have had 4 fingers today. Thanks to Georgiana Peach, Giselle Noir, the Analog Kid, and yours truly, Fred Zeppelin. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye now.